down. What's up, everybody? You are tuned into season 2 of the Elks Call presented by Shotgun Sports. My name is Scout, aka the rep from Section X.
And I'm Catherine, aka Even Elks.
And today we have a special episode for everybody. The Edmonton Elks have private ownership for the first time ever, and we have all the reaction and breakdown for you. First off, congratulations to Larry Thompson for buying the Edmonton Elks. It's pretty wild. It's a dawn of a new day. It's a new
Mm-hmm.
era. No longer is this team community owned, anyways. So
No.
pretty big. We will have some clips from the press conference coming up later on the show. But first, we'd like to thank everybody for tuning in tonight, whether you're watching on our YouTube, which is Shotgun Sports Network, or on Facebook at the Elks Herd, or if you're listening on TuneIn, iHeartRadio, Edmonton Sports Talk, or wherever you get your podcasts. Apple Podcasts, it's a big one, so shout out to you guys as well. While we're here, if you could hit the like, subscribe, favorite, all of that, that would be greatly appreciated. We see the herd chat blowing up already, which is a good sign tonight. Today's lineup for another stacked show is as follows. We're going to open up with Kathy's herd report, talking about the latest Edmonton Elks game, news, and transactions. Following that, we're going to give you an Edmonton sports update, and then we'll cap the show with a major fan forum where we discuss hot topics surrounding the Edmonton Elks, the CFL, and the sports world as a whole. Be sure to blow up the herd chat like you guys already are so we can get your comments and questions onto the show. We're going to start off with Kathy's herd report, where Kathy brings you the latest Elks game recap, news, and transactions. The herd report is brought to you by the Forge podcast. Experience the latest in Birmingham sports with Ryan Messer as he gives you the latest news and updates. Find the Forge every week on Shotgun Sports Network. Kathy, that last game, that last home win.
Yeah. I know we're all here to talk about the big news of, the day. That was big news today. But we're just going to do a super quick game recap, get it out of the way, get it sorted. It is part of our, program here at the Elks Call. So we'll go through that super quick and hopefully painless, and then we'll get to the topics of interest. So bear with me, people.
Which a home win should be a major topic of interest
Exactly.
here.
I mean, I feel like there's still things that matter here. There were still things that happened during the game that we should be talking about. So let's go back. The Edmonton Elks faced the BC Lions on Sunday, August 11th at Commonwealth Stadium for the first home win of the season. Now, if we could just not have to wait another year for another home home win, that would be that'd be great. But let's break it down. Yes, it was a great home win and great atmosphere in and outside of the stadium. That tailgate that day was
That was
popping.
a good tailgate,
It was
really good tailgate.
really good feels over there. So let's get to it. During the first quarter, if there's one thing that I have noticed in the past couple of games with Trey Ford as a starter quarterback, is that it seems to take him a quarter to kind of warm up a little bit. And maybe that applies to the whole team. The whole team just has to warm up, you know. For this game, Dolgala opened up the game with a series of successful passes for a BC touchdown. And we tried. We really did. With a few rushes, a couple of solid passes to Gittins Jr. and Tavin Jones, and an unfortunate sack for a loss of 3 yards. So, right after that, we were at the 38-yard line on a third down. It was nice and set up for Boris Beatty to get us some points on board, and he missed that one. 38 yards. At least we managed to get a single point. At least.
At least, I mean, for the Rouge, but I mean, in that
Yeah.
instance, you really want the 3 points.
I mean, it's one of those that we kept hearing everybody say, I could have made that kick. I could have made that kick. I'm pretty sure. Didn't we
Classic.
see a guy there? Was it this game that he had a field goal wearing no shoes, barefooted?
He won the contest there, yeah.
Yeah, well, there you go. Point. BC scored another 3 points, and this was a scary end to the first quarter, being 9 points behind. I mean, everybody came into this game, like like you guys said here in the chat, feeling that atmosphere. It was a really good feels coming into the game, and then after that first quarter, I think everybody started to like worry a little bit. But
Yeah.
by the second quarter, it seems like everybody seems to be warmed up, and the second quarter turned out to be nothing short of exciting, really. Within the first 3 minutes, Trey had passed to Gittins Jr., Javon Leake, and Tavin Jones, and a rush down the middle for Leake to get a touchdown. That Leake, that play though, that Leake rush down the middle. How many times did we see that in this game?
Oh yeah,
A lot,
a lot.
a lot. Definitely made a point of that. It was like that play again. Are they doing that again? But hey, if it works,
It works.
it works. And the defense also showed up. Holding Dolegala back and forcing a turnover and downs. We also got some extra yards with BC getting an illegal contact and a pass interference penalty, which brought us right to the 1 yard line for Prukop to rush it in for a touchdown. Comfort kick was good at this point for the extra point. Um, then after that, there were a couple of minutes left in the half when Trey Ford was taken down
Brutal.
for a loss of 6 yards and a rib injury that brought Bethel Thompson to the
Well,
field.
and I think in that moment too, you're a little bit stressed, right? As a fan sitting there in the seat, you're
Oh,
like, man, I really don't want to see Trey Ford. And then like injured, and then you see the white tent. And when you
yeah.
see the white tent, you're like, oh no, here we go.
Well, we did get another field goal at the end of the quarter from the 51-yard line. So again, how does Speedy miss a 38-yard field goal but gets this one?
But gets it from
Seriously?
the 51.
Really? Like
Massive
seriously.
kick.
Massive. But yeah, let's talk about Trey Ford here. So this is one of the topics that I wanted to bring up. We all know Trey's play style.
Right.
He likes to run the ball and he seems to enjoy going for risky plays. And even though we did see him do a lot of those long passes in the last game, it seems like his scramble plays are his go to. That's what he tends to go for.
Right.
And clearly, with those kinds of plays, there's a greater risk of injury. As a coach, if you were a coach, do you tell Trey to hold it back and play safer? The guy plays for a couple of games and gets injured.
And it like
And we don't, the last thing that we need is a, repeat of last year.
well, yeah, I mean he has been injured fairly often, I would say, compared to
Mhm.
the games played, but now we do have to remember that's what comes with a scramble type quarterback like that. Now, Michael Riley, he didn't get injured as often. He made different plays. He
Mhm.
wasn't a scramble type. He could run the ball, right? So
Mhm.
there's a difference between strategical runs, I guess, and then
Mhm.
scrambling and seeing stuff like that happen, which does seem like I'm trying to think of his last injury.
Yeah.
Wasn't that a similar type play?
Yeah, I think
So
so.
so that is a very interesting point. Now he has also become a passing first quarterback in comparison, but you can see old tendencies start to arise in some of his plays where he wants to get the Jets going off of a scramble, right?
Well, and another point, MBT was brought into this team to kind of coach him, to mentor him, to
Right.
give him that example and insights and advice from an elite quarterback. But that's not MBT's style.
Right.
We know that.
Yeah.
So do you think that even his expertise and even his advice or insights would be helpful for Trey?
Well, and that's kind of why MBT is there, right? Is to give that kind of insight, to kind of be a bit of a quarterback coach as well to Trey, be that
Mhm.
kind of mentor. So I think that's a good point. I think that MBT I think that MBT is doing some of that, but that's also not his job either. That's Jarius Jackson
Mm.
as quarterback coach.
Yeah.
So that's also right on Jarius Jackson. MBT is mostly there to do his job.
Yeah.
He can only give so much advice,
Yeah.
right?
Well, and that's just it. I mean, seeing Trey Trey play, it's very exciting. Watching him play is super exciting.
Right.
He always gets
Yep.
everybody out of their seats.
Totally.
But at the same time, how many times do you see him and you're like, dude, you're gonna injure yourself with that. You're
Well, and I mean on that play, I think he that wasn't a passing play. He was rushing.
yeah, he
So
was rushing and he was
he was
tackled.
rushing, and I think it was as he was kind of
Yeah.
going head first a bit.
Mhm.
So Yeah, he should be sliding a little bit more on those, right? You have to learn how to slide as well, but that's also his style. Is he does like to drop a shoulder, and he's been described as that as on multiple occasions, multiple reports. That guy likes to drop his shoulder a little bit. So
I hate watching him play for a couple of games and then he's gone. I mean,
yeah,
hopefully it's only for a game or two. But at the same time, like we're just getting that momentum. He is starter, right?
yeah,
That didn't happen last year. Like don't wreck it. Don't
yeah.
wreck yourself.
Yep.
Check yourself before you wreck yourself. Anyways,
Chickadee check
let's
yourself.
go into the third quarter. Um, Now it was our turn to have a serious scoring quarter. And I think we can all agree that we were feeling Trey's absence at this point. Still, though, the defense continued to perform well and they only allowed a couple of field goals in. The weird part, though, is that technically MBT was not playing bad. He did
No.
not play bad. During the quarter's first drive, we had a couple of first downs and really good movement. But then he threw an interception, and this seemed to throw the team off a bit, I
Yeah.
think.
Well, anytime you throw an interception, it kind of brings things down,
Mhm.
right? So
And whatever speculations might be going around out there, there is no denying that the team as a whole seems to have a little bit more
yep.
chemistry with Trey Ford than MBT. The
Yeah.
players seem to move differently with a lot more confidence, I think. So if something like that happens, Trey Ford gets injured, MBT is in, he's making a couple of mistakes, but he's playing well, but then suddenly he throws an interception. It's like you saw it and
It's
the
those
whole
critical
team.
moments. It's throwing
Mhm,
an interception or a fumble, having a fumble, or
mhm.
just making any sort of general mistake, a bad penalty, anything that was preventable, right?
Yeah.
So that's the way this team has operated. But the fourth quarter,
Yeah.
they made a comeback. Well,
Yeah,
not even a comeback. They just ran away with it.
we started the quarter getting some more points on the board with Beatty kicking a field goal from the 34-yard line. So yay. At least he got that one. And really BC seemed sloppy, but we'll take it. Even if
Well, they were
we'll
tired.
take.
Their defense was getting tired,
Yes.
and it's not too often where our team does that to their team.
Yeah. And they were getting quite a few penalties as well. They had a contacting the kicker penalty
Yeah,
that
that
turned.
one.
Yeah. We'll take that one. It turned a punt into a first down, which really was all we needed for MPT to also turn it around and move the ball down the field and for Justin Ranking to score a touchdown at that point.
Rankin has been a beast
Yeah,
since he's come onto the roster.
he has. And after three attempts, now this took three attempts. The first one moving back 5 yards because of an Edmonton procedure penalty, and then the second one moving up 4 yards because of a BC legal contact penalty. Then Dylan Mitchell finally caught the third for a 2-point conversion. So that was actually really entertaining to see. I wasn't half the time I wasn't even sure what was happening because we just kept trying to go for that 2-point
Like
conversion.
just get it done.
I
Just get it
was
in
like,
there.
why are we not even kicking it? But let's just get it done.
We'll take the two though.
Yeah. And with 2 minutes and 30 seconds left in the game, Boris Beatty kicked in yet another field goal for another 3 points, bringing us to the final score of 33-16. Elks.
Yay.
Yay. So, I mean, definitely, there were quite a few goods in this game. I mean, Trey Ford, obviously, he completed all 6 of his passes attempts for 96 yards before exiting the game.
That's not bad.
I mean, he only played a quarter and a half, but that's still
Yeah.
pretty good. It makes you think what would have happened if he had played the whole game,
Well, exactly.
right? MBT as well, like I said, technically he played well. He completed 14 of 18 passes for 171 yards and a touchdown. He also secured the lead with a 13-play, 97-yard touchdown drive with 6:43 remaining in the game. So
Which
that's
is
impressive.
keeping the other team's defense
Mhm,
on the field. That's what you need.
mhm. And Javon Leake, of course, he carried the ball 9 times in the first half, ripping off 50 yards and a 12-yard touchdown. He wrapped up the game with 134 yards. So he's just, you know, collecting those yards.
Oh, well, and just like in the article that Matt
Mhm,
Morrissey posted on shotgunsportsnetwork.ca, we recommend you go check it out. He talks all about Leak and
mhm,
what an impact he's made on
mhm.
this team.
Totally. Yeah, I'm excited to see what he ends up the season with.
Hmm.
That's going to be pretty impressive. So,
Yep,
um, yeah, so that was the game. It was a really good, it was a really good game for us. It was exciting. It was stressful at times. I'm not gonna lie,
very
and
stressful until we started to run away with it.
yeah, and yeah, we'll see. We'll see what the next one brings. But before we go into that, we did have some transactions. On August 12th, we had National fullback Brad Laddick released, National offensive lineman Patrick
LeBlanc.
Lavoie released, National offensive lineman Jackson Morgan released, and we did sign two players, American wide receiver DeMarcus Adams and National offensive lineman Jacob Sott. On August 13th, we signed National defensive back Jeremy Dominique.
Welcome back
Mm,
to the
oh,
herd, Jeremy Dominique. He ended up making quite a few tackles last year for the team. Got released, I believe, at the end of last season.
no, okay.
So, end of last season or beginning of this season, he was on our transactions list. Welcome back.
As for injuries, we do have a doubtful on Trey Ford
Right.
due to a chest injury. So it's
So,
not out.
but it seems like he's more than likely not playing. Expect MBT in. Speculation is that MBT will be the
Hmm.
starter for this game. Trey Ford, highly doubt that. Like I don't even think that they'll have him on the sidelines. You got to
Yeah,
protect the guy.
yeah.
He should not be on the field if he's still in pain, right? And bruised ribs,
Hmm.
very serious. As per speculation, bruised ribs,
Right.
very very serious. So
Hmm.
I could only imagine how much pain he could be in.
Yeah, yeah. So better give him another one to rest up.
Yeah.
We have Romeo McKnight out with an ankle injury. However, we do have Kevin Brown, Niles Morgan, and Arkell Smith all available for the next game.
So we'll see. I mean, Kevin Brown, with the combination of Rankin and Javon Leak, I
Mhm.
don't think that Kevin Brown will be in this game. He may be a healthy scratch.
Yeah, we'll have to take a look. I've been wondering about that as well. What happens to Kevin Brown, seeing the Javon League has been performing so well?
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see what that looks like. What's next? They play at Hamilton on Saturday, August 17th at 5 p.m.
Yep.
What's your thoughts on that game?
27-20 Edmonton Elks with new ownership. It'll be Larry Thompson's first win. 27-20 Elks. I don't know how high scoring it will be,
Yeah,
but yeah, that's where I have it. What do you got?
I'm not sure. I don't like. I don't like to talk about this. I don't like to jinx it. I don't like to talk about it. I will just see. I don't know. I'm a little. I was hoping that Trey Ford would play Hamilton.
Yeah, well, and that would have been the feel good story, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's having Trey Ford in Hamilton playing against his hometown team. Really, really wanted to see this one. Unfortunately, it looks like he will be injured. So,
Yeah.
yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I do think the Edmonton Elks are going to win it, go 3 in a row here. That would be nuts. And then it sets you up to go potentially 4 in a row, feeling good against Montreal.
Yeah.
Next step, though, is this Saturday night.
We got to get through that first. And we do have a comment here on the chat from Chad Friesen.
Yeah.
Brown could play well with a quarterback like Ford, who keeps defense on their toes. Very true. We've seen Ford play
End of
with
last season.
Kevin Brown,
End
right?
of last season, Kevin Brown with Trey Ford out there. It's Trey Ford bringing that spy. Trey
Yeah,
Ford opening up the field.
very true.
You know, and that's where obviously somebody like Javon Leak,
Hmm.
he can really excel at that same deal. Kevin Brown, end of last season, he was excelling and really taking off. So, you know, MBT having Kevin Brown back there hasn't been opening up
Hmm.
the holes as well as it
Hmm.
could have been, right? So,
Hmm.
little frustrating that we didn't see that at the beginning of the season, but now the run game is alive, and
Yeah.
I think now teams are planning for a different style running back at a bare minimum,
Right.
especially with Rankin and Javon Lee kind
Yeah.
of double dutying, taking double duties there,
Hmm.
going back and forth on that. It opens up
Yeah.
the possibilities, and it's also the O line as well. The O line is doing a good job of finding the holes, making the holes, and getting those running backs through that
Well,
line. And I mean, Javon Leake, he also is amazing at finding the holes.
well, and that's just it, right? I mean, the O line kind of has to work with what they've got. And the nice thing about Trey Ford is that because he's so mobile and
Yeah.
he's so dynamic, that a lot of the time, the defense, the opposing defense doesn't know where they're going.
No,
That's so they
exactly.
don't know exactly where to go. So there's a lot more holes. They're not building that wall as tight as they would when MBT is on quarterback because that MBT is pretty stationary. He's not going to go very far.
Well, in this last game as well, you had MBT come in on a team that mostly prepared for Trey Ford.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be interesting to see how
Yeah.
this game goes. I think it will be a one-score game, but I do think that the Edmonton Elks, now with some wind in their sails, now looking a little bit refreshed, and now that Jarius Jackson has had some time to work in his own true game plan,
Mm-hmm.
it looks like they're succeeding. They got some belief. This
Yeah.
team has some belief. They were always right there.
Mhm.
And now MBT is kind of playing with the chip on his shoulder too, right? So it's less pressure off of him. He's a backup quarterback now. The eyes aren't directly on him as much as they were on game day. All eyes are going to be on MBT
Now-
to get the freaking win.
Now, let's say that MBT does really well against Hamilton and they win, and he does really, really well. Do you think he goes back to the starter position and then Trey Ford has to fight for it?
It may end up being a scenario where they play the hot hand,
Yeah,
right?
maybe.
Next quarterback to lose in whatever fashion, right? Maybe you get one more chance, and then we're going to put in the other quarterback tandem.
Yeah, that's what
That's
I'd be
kind of what we
saying.
were hoping, right? But
Like just throw them in intermittently.
yeah,
Like don't show your hands,
no,
and then they don't know what to prepare for. Is it going to be Trey? Is it going to be MBT? You don't know. Who's it going to be right now in this quarter, in this half, in this game?
well, exactly. Tracy
know.
Ham and Eggs here in the herd
Mhm.
chat. Hope the running game doesn't dry up without Trey. I think we're all hoping it doesn't.
Yeah.
But
Well, MBT could learn a little bit from Trey as
yeah,
well.
but he doesn't want to. That's not his thing,
Maybe
right?
he's a little too conservative and he doesn't want to get injured
That's
at
just
all.
not his style. He's a pocket passer, right?
Yeah.
So it's just a completely different style. We'll see. But we are going to get to this press conference recap, the meat and potatoes of this one. We're going to get there right away. We're going to bring you first an Edmonton sports update. Today's sports update is brought to you by Herdy's. For 2 weeks in a row, Herdy's has sold out their famous smoked meats. This time, our signature pork belly sliders, selling out well before game time. Expect to see us push it with our traditional salt and pepper wings at the Labor Day rematch on September 7th against the Calgary Stampeders. Herdy's, we smoke the meats. Your Edmonton Elks are currently 2-7 with back-to-back wins, heading to Hamilton to face the 2-7 Tiger Cats on Saturday night. Kickoff is at 5 p.m. Mountain. The Edmonton Riverhawks have been eliminated from the 2024 West Coast League playoffs, defeated by the Bellingham Bulls in 3 games. Congratulations to Edmonton Sports Talk for having the live coverage of Riverhawks and Stingers for this last season. Catch both of those teams on EST next season for the 2025 year. And be sure to check out our weekly sports articles over at shotgunsportsnetwork.ca, where the Elks are. You're up to date. This is our commercial break now, so we got to give a shout out to you for checking out our affiliated links. We got some discount codes for you. We got some links, and they support the network when you make purchases. So thanks a lot, everybody, for that. Royal Retros, 10% off using code Shotgun Sports. They are the throwback kings. You got to go check them out. RoyalRetros.com. code Shotgun Sports, all caps, no spaces. Everybody knows Fanatics. Hit the link, shop online with Shotgun Sports Network and Fanatics. Lather. I'm still not through any of my deodorant bars.
I feel like we need to make a specific page on the website for this update. It's insane.
We're gonna do deodorant watch here. But yeah, lather without the ELATHR Canadian handmade soap. If you want 20% off, go check it out using code Shotgun Sports 20, all caps, no spaces. Smell damn good. I never was a big soap guy until I saw lather. Smelled lather. Smelled damn good. Alrighty. Also, if you would like to sponsor any of our segments or even our entire show, shoot us a message on our socials or via email admin@shotgunsportsnetwork.ca. Fan forum. We got a big one here. The moment we have all been waiting for. We're going to open up the fan forum. In this segment, we talk about hot topics surrounding the Edmonton Elks and the CFL as a whole. We see you blowing up the herd chat. The herd chat has not stopped.
And I did not eat all of the smoked meats. Just putting it out there.
John calling you out for eating all the smoked meats.
I had 3.
Hey, they were
delicious.
They taste damn good. But with lather, you smell damn good. Okay, so today's fan forum is brought to you by the Rouge, White, and Blue podcast. Americans talking Canadian football. Oz and Joe can now be seen on Shotgun Sports Network, bringing their audibles to your screens. Everyone's favorite point, white and blue. Today's a special edition of the fan forum. We're going to talk about the private ownership press conference today. Larry Thompson comes in as the owner, the very first owner of the Edmonton Elks, the EE Football Club. Quick recap here before we show you the clip. Quick recap. Larry Thompson, once again, he's the first ever owner of the Edmonton Elks. He's wanted to own the Double E since he was 30 to 35 years old. The primary logo has changed before Larry even took the stage today. He comes in with that branding behind him. Does not want to be associated too closely with the antler logo, right? So that's interesting. Larry and Deborah introduced season ticket holders since the early 70s, and they have 2 tickets directly behind the EE bench. Pretty sure they have a suite as well. So they're longtime supporters, have invested in this team as fans. They've been here the whole time through this downfall, I guess we can call it, of the EE brand. And then he also sold Thompson Brothers Construction, aka Thompson Construction Group, last year. Still has many other businesses still. So he's got the funds, he's got the love, he's a hard worker. His number one priority is winning football games. So in multiple interviews today, he's stated that his number one priority as the owner of the Double E, as the Edmonton Elks owner, he wants to win football games and bring back glory. So that's impressive. We're going to show you guys a 10-minute clip. Or yeah, it's around 10 minutes, right? 10 to 12 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So we moshed up the Larry Thompson bits and tried to cut it down as much as possible. We're going to check it out here right away.
Well, thank you, Rick. It's my pleasure to be here today. I'd like to introduce my wife, Debbie. Between the two of us, we got four kids and 8 grandkids. I've lived and worked around Edmonton in the area all my life. As a business owner, I operated a heavy civil construction company for 4 decades. And I sold that company just over a year ago on June 1st. My success in that company afforded me this opportunity today. I started going to watch the Eskimos when I was 12 years old. And I've been coming to games, and I still have our 2 season tickets are right over there, front row. Yeah, we still have them today. So it is truly an honor to have this opportunity to be part of this team. My family and I are very excited about the future and bringing the team back to its winning ways. Thank you.
Their team, and then there are a lot of owners that are more behind the scenes. What do you anticipate your ownership style to be?
The way I envision it right now, it's this is all new to me here. So the way I envision it, I'll be sitting up in the stands, or I could be down on the field. I haven't found my place here quite yet, so it could be a combination of all of the above.
And I guess just if you or anybody can talk about it, is anybody willing to disclose a purchase price or details? Like, is the board still going to be around for a while? Is Rick still going to be around? How is all that shaken down?
Yeah, well, the price is confidential, and the Rick is going to be around, and we've recently started looking for a new president and CEO for the club, and we'll continue to do that. And Rick will be involved in that process of hiring somebody for that position. Sure.
Hi, Larry. Oh. Sarah Ryan, Global News. Hi. I'm just hoping you can talk to me about why. Why buy the Elks? What does the team mean to you?
Well, I've been watching them since I was 12 years old. And my first game I went to, I fell in love with the team, and I've been watching them all my life. So they're very dear to my heart. And I'm a passionate fan of not only the Elks, but the rest of the teams in the league. I watch every football game I can get my hands on every weekend. So, and I'm just proud to be an owner of a CFL team.
And can you just talk a little bit about your first order of business? What's most important for you to do to change? What's number one?
Well, that's very simple. We need to bring back our winning ways. That means winning football games.
Hey, Steven Sandor from Canadian Press. There's been a lot of talk the last couple of days about this team's brand and identity. Are you committed to keeping the Edmonton Elks name?
I don't think that's a question for today. It's today. I want to be just a fun and celebrative day for everybody, fans, City of Edmonton, the Elks Club, everybody. But we will be focusing, just to let you know, in the future on Double E more.
Hey, Larry, Kevin Carey, Sports 1440. What qualities are you looking for in your president to lead this team?
Well, it's going to have to be somebody that knows their way around the league for sure. He needs to be, or he or she needs to be connected, and they have to be very talented.
Hi there, right here on your left, Ryan Rashog with TSN. I think maybe over the last 5-6 years, whatever the timeline, if you were to talk to the average fan about their feeling about the organization and the connectivity to it, it seemed maybe that was lost a little bit at times over the last number of years. You've been a lifelong fan. Were there times where you felt that connectivity maybe wasn't there? And have you seen that change, and what can you do to maybe even bring that back more?
Well, there's lots of things we can do, and we need to. We're in the entertainment business, so we need to entertain the fans to get them back in the seats, because when they come here, they got to have fun, and if they don't, they ain't going to come here. So, and our fans are extremely important to the club.
If I can, Randy, if I can ask you a question as well. I just wanted to know if the CFL would have any sort of initial position on the idea of rebranding of this team again. There's lots of talk out there about it, but would the CFL have an initial position on any idea of it potentially going back to the previous name? Does the CFL have a position on that?
Well, as Larry has said, I think there's two really important things, and Larry and I've talked about it. I think the first and foremost, the brand that I feel, and I think I speak for the alumni, feel most strongly about is the Double E. And the Double E, I think, is a big part of Larry's plan going forward. So I think that's largely will be the identity of this organization, and frankly, I'm very comfortable with that. You know, as for have we talked about it? You know, we did as just part of getting to know one another. And again, one of the things that Larry and I very quickly were able to agree on, we didn't disagree on anything. Did we, Larry? I don't think we disagreed on anything.
I don't think so, no.
We agreed that the Double E is really the brand that matters the most, and that's the one that I think that they'll end up focusing on going forward.
He did give me a skill testing question, though.
I did. So just to be clear, Larry answered with he got a 10 out of 10. So before I was prepared to go any further with the interview, I asked Larry what the most important group on any CFL team was by position. And Larry paused very briefly, very briefly, and said it's the offensive line. I got up, gave Larry a big hug, and I knew he was a winner.
Thanks.
Hi there. Oh, over there.
Hi there, Jacob with Windspeaker Media. Congratulations, Larry. Obviously, a
Thank you.
massive accomplishment. 75 years this team's been community owned. So obviously, I don't know if you feel pressure, but how do you make sure that the community remains incorporated within your style of work? And I think you kind of have that unique perspective being that season ticket holder as well.
Yeah, well, that is a good question. The Eskimos and the Elks, throughout all these years, have been connected with the community, and in the future we will be as connected, if more connected, is our goal with the community.
Hi there. Jacqueline Cusi, Global News. Where's the money that you spent to buy the club? Where's that going? What sort of programming are you hoping to spend that money on? And is it in the community, in the team? That's the question.
That's a president question.
Sorry, Rick.
It's a unique setup coming from a community-owned team to a private sector team. And there's been all kinds of lawyers involved, too many. Yeah, it does. They would expect me to say that. But the structure of it had to be an asset deal. It couldn't be a share deal. And the board of directors of the Edmonton Elks Football Club had the full right and authority to sell the assets of the club. So it's an asset deal, and Larry will make the investment in the new company going forward. And as of today, we'll be reporting to him on to be accountable, and then we'll be preparing for next season starting pretty soon as we do the schedule next month and then our business plan. And we'll be then recommending to him what our business plan is for 2025 going forward.
Hi, Bianca Million, City News. Congratulations, and I've got the hard-hitting questions for you to get to know you a little bit more. If you're willing to let us know, what year did you attend your first game?
Yeah, well, I used to have a pet dinosaur instead of a dog, so yeah.
Did you ride it to the game?
Yeah. No, it was 1972. Yeah.
Okay, and second question. I don't think you have to say Gizmo. Who is your favorite all-time player on the team?
Oh, now I see Giz sitting there. I gotta say Giz for sure. Yeah. But you know what? There's so many players that I could tell you about. We had a lot of special players. We still do. And a couple of names that will pop right up top of my head would be guys like Danny Kepley and Wilkinson and there's just so Brian Kelly, and there's so many of them. I can't say every name. So I've watched them all play.
You forgot about these two, though,
Oh,
right?
sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah, and I concentrated on the O-line most of the time. Yeah. It was the most exciting part for me, you know. Yeah.
Hey, Larry. Tom Gazzola, Edmonton Sports Talk. As an Edmontonian, fan of the O-line specifically, watching them over the years in this facility, what's your vision for this facility and where the home of this team will be 10 years down the road, 20 years down the road? Where could you see that evolving to? Because we're creeping up on 50 years here at Commonwealth.
Yeah, that's a very good question, too. And in fact, we did meet with the mayor yesterday, and we had a conversation about that. And we're going to bring some ideas back to him. He's going to get his own ideas with his crew, and hopefully we'll figure it out. It could be one or two things. It could be we need to change this facility around, and we need to revamp it. And we've already picked out a few hot spots that we need to concentrate on, or it could be an entirely new facility. It all depends on funding, I guess, and people's visions and ideas.
Okay, last call for.
All right. So that footage there, courtesy of the Edmonton Elks. If you want to see the full press conference, you can go head on over right after you're done this. You can go right over to the Edmonton Elks YouTube page and go check that out. But we tried to give you the most important pieces of that, which was the Q&A and obviously his first words as owner. So Herd Chat, get on in here. Give us your opinion. We'll bring it onto the show here. What are your thoughts, like your first impression on the new owner of the Edmonton Elks, Larry Thompson?
Oof, what are my first thoughts? I think first thoughts are always clouded by what you know and what you research a little bit. And the one thing that I know for sure is that he's a smart businessman. And I think we've mentioned it before, is that there are multiple pieces of this organization, right? You have your ownership, you have your presidents, you have your coaches, you have your team, you have your fans.
Right.
To me, this was a very smart move in the sense that Larry Thompson is a very smart businessman and he's a very smart business owner.
Yep.
And he has been a season ticket holder and a fan for very, very many years. So he doesn't necessarily need to know the operational side of it. He doesn't need to be a football player.
Yeah, the football ops. He doesn't necessarily. So what's your first impression? Like, do you think that this is a good guy for the organization?
I think it could be, for sure. I don't know enough about him, or I haven't, seen him very much, but just because of the fact that he's been a fan for so long and he's owned businesses, to me that makes him a good candidate.
Well, and I mean, yeah, Ken Shapka here in the Herd Chat. Larry's a fan. That is what's important. That's huge. That is huge that Larry is a fan. It's cool to know that technically one of us is out there buying the team, right? So that's cool. He's supported the team for a very, very long time. I would say that he's a little words but lots of work type of guy, right? He shows what he can do. He doesn't necessarily talk about it. And I mean, there is a lot that you can pick apart in that press conference. We're going to get into this, but local business owner, hard worker, wise businessman, doesn't say Elks too much. All day today, I think in most media, he didn't necessarily say Elks too much. And obviously he comes in with that double E logo. So let's talk about that. The double E logo is the logo that he's standing in front of when he comes in, which means the double E is now the primary logo. Even with that press conference, the graphic that they were using to advertise the press conference had the double E. So this logo here wore it for a little bit of symbolism. It is now.
It might go away.
It might go away. We're looking at potentially a secondary or even a tertiary logo now, the antler logo. So what are your thoughts on the double E instantly coming in as the primary logo?
I like it.
Do you think this is foreshadowing, like, a multi-year rebrand? Like, is today the first step in a brand change for this team?
I don't know. It's hard to say. It's hard to say in terms of the name itself, whether it will be changed or not. I
Right.
mean, once again, everything that we hear so far in terms of the name is speculation.
Yep.
If you go by this interview, you could say that no, the name is not going to change. But if you go by the some of the mannerisms, some of the way that people were talking about it, that we're not talking about it right now, but we'll talk about it later, that we have discussed it. We have, it's straight up, it's just saying, listen, we're not going to talk about it, but it could happen later. So once again, everything's speculation. What we know for sure right now is that the double E logo will take precedence.
It is the primary logo for the next home game. We could see the double E on the field now. I'm pretty sure they did the 75th logo. That was for the first game.
Right.
I think they also did the Indigenous logo. So they have been changing the logo on the field. We may see the double E logo on the field. That's actually a possibility because now this is the primary logo. Everybody's focusing on double E. So technically speaking, that is a change we may see on game day. As far as immediately, the double E logo now takes precedence. So TSN is already using that logo for the score bar, right? But the elk is going to be disappearing.
And you know what? I feel like that's a good middle ground, and maybe that's another really smart business decision. Because right now, even if you see it in the chat, you can't please everybody.
You
There
can't.
is, there's going to be people that are all for the name change back to the Eskimos. There's going to be people that are against that because they think that we're going backwards. And you know what? In many ways, both are valid. But if you're a smart businessman, what can you do right now to appease everybody? Bring the double E back. Bring this ambiguous double letter logo that really doesn't tell you much, or it tells you everything, and utilize that as the placeholder. It might be the remaining logo for the rest of the season or for very many years. But right now, we don't know what name the team is going with.
No, but so here's the mistake that the organization made when they rebranded. They moved away from that logo. The whole purpose of keeping the double E's was not to make it a third logo, which essentially they did, and they have. So the double E logo has been a third logo for way too long. I agree, and like Victor, brought in that decal, the big old double E decal.
Right.
Now that could have been already pre-designed, who knows, right? But no matter what, that came in under Victor. So that was huge. And I mean, the double E logo should come back in a major way. The amount of merchandise, like there's you got to plaster it everywhere. But
we're also not going to be that double E team. We're not going
we're
to be.
never going to be the Edmonton double E's, right? It's that's not how it works.
But
That's
at the
definitely not how
same
it
time,
works.
once again, everything's speculation until we know for sure.
Yeah.
Right? Until we know what's going to happen, and that could be something that actually is able to. We don't know. We really don't know if they're even able to. Whether it is monetary wise that they're that they can afford a rebrand like that. Whether it is something that perhaps comes from a little bit higher from the CFL that tells them, hey, you can't do that. Not sure how that works.
Are we talking about the Eskimos name?
Yes. Not sure how that works.
The CFL, as per Dave Naylor, the CFL will not intervene if the Edmonton Elks Football Club wants to rename to the Edmonton Eskimos.
That's good to point out because we did have a couple of people saying in the chat that the CFL would intervene.
The CFL, what he was from what Dave Naylor was saying, he has zero indicators that the CFL would do that. Also, why do you think Randy Ambrosie was there today? Randy Ambrosie is giving the big old red seal of approval for this guy to do whatever he wants with his team. Yeah. Seriously. TSN may have more concerns than the CFL does, and either way, it's bringing them attention by having a team do something like this.
At
And
the end of the day, is media, really.
Really, and let's point this out. Larry Thompson, biggest set of nuts if he walks in, pulls a move like that, and you got the Washington Commanders sitting
Right.
and the Cleveland Guardians sitting there going, "Holy cow, we could do that too," right? They like there's positives and there's negatives.
Of course.
You're
and-
gonna get butts in the seats if you rebrand to the old name. At the same time, there's a cultural aspect here where we're stepping backwards
Well,
by
and it's not,
selecting that
you
name.
know what? And for me, I've always been very ambiguous of this because personally, and this is my personal opinion, this is nobody else's opinion. My personal opinion is that those who feel offended by the name should be the ones that say whether it's okay or not. Not
Correct.
everybody else.
Correct.
Our opinions don't matter on
Correct.
that. end.
Correct.
But I've always been very ambiguous because, you know, if this is something that has to happen, then it has to happen. My problem with going back to the Eskimo name, it has nothing to do with the name itself, but the principle of the team, the principles that the team have presented by changing that name, right? So now you're going to that morality, you know, that we're going to take this step to appease those who are offended, and we truly believe that this is the right way to go, the right thing to
Right.
do. And now you're going back on that word as an organization. And I agree, I understand that it's a completely new ownership, but at the same time, it's now you're like, to me, it would look bad because they're just going back on something that they very righteously said that they were going to do.
Well, and I mean, lots of fans, including myself, have already been through the quote unquote trauma of losing the name. So once you lose the name, once you decide to move along and, you know, invest your energy into the name Edmonton Elks, we wouldn't even be talking about this had the team been winning these last 2 to 3 years. Let's be real. Right?
Yes,
The number one issue with the team is the fact that it has lost. And now if you are a fresh owner coming in, buying this team for the first time,
Mhm.
wading through these waters, the one buoy, the one beacon you're seeing there, change the name to Eskimos and get fans in instantly.
Oh,
And then, like, if you're a business person coming into this, it's the number one thing you can do to inject fans into the stadium in a gate-driven league. If you want money now, if you want money now, worry about the name change again later on.
yeah. Listen, we have the
Boom.
double E. I think that will appease some people, right?
Well-
we can't appease everybody.
Yeah, but the double E coming in as a primary logo, yes,
Yeah.
that's a big deal.
For
But
sure.
but I think that this is just the beginning of a 1 to 2 year rebrand. The indicators that I have seen, not just from this press conference, but from general buzz, whatever, from everything that I'm seeing, this team is heading towards a name rebrand. You take a look at the Elks to Eskimos ratio from Larry Thompson alone today. We're talking about like a 2 to 12, a 2 to 15.
Yeah.
Like,
well,
and
but
I mean,
he's also I mean, no disrespect, but he's also an old man that grew up
that grew up with the Eskimos name,
Eskimos.
totally,
And,
right?
you know, we've heard this before, and I think it's important to bring it up as well because we saw it on in the chat as well. I don't know if I can go back for it, but it's true that there is a very large generational gap right now
Mm-hmm.
for the team. You have you know, your older fellas that have been in those
And
seats
gals.
for years and gals that have grown up with the Eskimos. And then there's a gap of nothing. And then you have your younger generation that are starting to come to see all of these games
Right.
that really identify with the new brand.
With the Elks logo, with
Elks.
Spike the mascot, like, and I agree with that. Like, we have two boys,
Mhm.
and they know that the team used to be called Eskimos. 6 and 9. They know that the team used to be called Eskimos. They wear Eskimos gear. They have some Eskimos jerseys.
Mhm.
Hey man, Value Village. Whenever we see any size of jersey, we're grabbing it, right? But it's as long as it's fresh enough. It's got to be fresh enough. But you know, Eskimos will always be a fiber of this team. Same with Edmonton Elks.
Yeah.
The Edmonton Elks will always be a fiber of this team.
So let's say the Edmonton Eskimos change the name to Edmonton Elks, and then the brand new Edmonton Elks makes it to the Grey Cup.
We aren't talking about a name change.
We are everybody loves the Elks at that point.
Well, you can build it. You build it, and they will come. Take a look at Montreal.
Mm-hmm.
Montreal borderline selling out, if not selling out. Why? Because they won the Grey Cup. You take a look at Winnipeg. 2 Grey Cups, 4 years.
Yeah.
They're selling out.
Yeah.
They're selling out at 30K plus. So this isn't a brand name problem. It's the fact that the team has won 3 home wins in 4 years. When you get 3 home wins in 4 years, like Larry said, right? The fans need to be entertained when they go to the game. The number one source of entertainment in all of that is your team winning the exciting
Yes.
game. When your team loses the exciting game, there's only so many games that you can go through with that scenario until you say, yeah, but they effing lost.
Mhm.
That's it. You hit a point where that close doesn't matter anymore. When you're out of the playoffs, it doesn't matter anymore. When the team has lost so many games at home, it doesn't matter, though. There's no moral victories.
Yeah.
That entertainment at the last game, losing it. Great tailgate, had an absolute blast, felt some pride in the Edmonton Elks name. Felt some pride in the Edmonton Elks name.
And I think maybe that's just it. There's no pride in this name because there hasn't been any wins.
And if you're Larry Thompson and you're coming in and you can run away from a losing name, once again, what did we post on Twitter? Imagine take the L out of Elks. Welcome back, Esks, right? Imagine that campaign.
Right. Oh.
It would be freaking crazy. Scout, if the football team goes back to Eskimos, do you think TSN would not broadcast and will lose more sponsors? Well, as many sponsors may jump off, some may jump on here in Edmonton as local businesses. That's the thing. And TSN doesn't care because once again, TSN, it's bringing ratings. It also depends on where society's at that point as well, right? We're kind of headed for a new attitude era here. It's turning into the 1990s with with how people are pushing back. And I don't want to get political with it. We don't want to get. We're not going to go there. But that being said, this is a global catalyst for these other teams out there with these names. You take a look at Portland Winterhawks. They just changed their logo. All they had to do was change their logo and make it not about Indigenous and all about a bird.
Right.
Winter Hawk.
Yeah.
That was fantastic rebranding. How the Edmonton Elks handled this rebranding? Failure. And when you make the double E a third logo, you have defeated the purpose of keeping the double E name to begin with. So, I mean, in this aspect, it's easy to get the fans back. You see how much Larry talks about, Eskimos. I think that we may see an Esks or Eskimos. EST, huge speculation, as you heard. They were big on that conference there. I highly recommend everybody goes and checks out EST. Their coverage has been absolutely crazy for this press conference. They also had Larry Thompson on the show, right? So on their show. So they had just about everybody. Really, really good listen over there. And we were also on the Canadian Football Central's ownership. We were also on their ownership special as well. So go check them out. Canadian Football Central, our guys, Carter and Rick. And I believe Rick's going to be on the show next week.
Nice.
Talking Tie Cats. We're going to see what happens with this game. Anyways, do we got any comments here in the herd chat?
We have Andrew here. They could never bring back the old name. I much prefer the elk logo to that polar bear garbage.
Nice.
I agree.
Nice. I like that.
If there's one thing about this team that they have seen, is probably some questionable branding, and I do agree with that logo. That was a questionable logo, but
the polar bear,
I don't like it. I don't like it either.
Did you see the jerseys Jed Roberts posted? If you find them online, everybody that's listening or watching, go check it out on X. There is an Edmonton Eskimos 19 or was it 05 or 95? One of those 2 years where they had all of the like that same Nanook logo,
right?
But they had it all over the jersey, and it was similar with the Memphis Mad Dogs. So I want to say it was 95,
right?
But anyways,
I mean, just to wrap up that kind of question, really, to be honest, it's not like it even matters. If it happens, it's gonna happen. If it doesn't, it's not
But
going to happen.
there better be good consultation. If they are gonna change the name,
That's just it. Who matters? Who matters? We don't. All of the people in the chat and even our opinions don't necessarily matters, because the only people that this should matter to, whether they change it back or not, are the people that are being affected by it.
the Inuit.
That's it. So if they are the ones that are okay by this, then at least we have confirmation. But if that is completely ignored, if that is not even something that is being considered, then I would truly lose respect for a team like
Yeah.
this. Just in general. Like, you're going back on everything that you said was right. That in itself, to me, it makes it look bad. Right? If you go through the proper channels just to make sure that you're doing the right things for the right reasons, not just because you're an old man that wants an old name back. Like, to me, that's not the right reason. That's not a real reason.
No, but to bring glory back to the city, but
Sure.
also represent
But
a
that's not in a
community, a
name.
group.
But that's not in a name.
Right.
Like, if Nike goes and changes its name, are you going to still continue to buy their shoes? As Tracy Hemenax over here says, you don't go to the game because it's called a certain name. You go to the game because of the aspect of going to see a football game.
Right.
If they continue to win, even better.
You go for
winning.
football. You go
Winning
for
is
football.
not in a name.
Yeah.
The winning the name itself don't make a team. It is what's the product on the field that makes the team.
That's very true.
And you know what? At the end of the day, the reason why I don't want the name to change is because I don't want to rebrand the Elks Herd. I don't want to go through the process of having to change our name, the Elks Herd, and the Elks Call, because that's going to be a lot of work.
I will say I do have a bit of a power move rebrand coming up. If we do have to go that route, we're gonna build back stronger in our rebrand for sure. We're not gonna pull an Edmonton Elks 2021 on our rebrand. Let's put it that way. Expect something crazy if we do have to rebrand, but it's. I think as long as you do this the right way, you can rebrand it. But you basically need like a seal of approval from every single Inuit band.
Yes.
That like it shouldn't be a vote. It shouldn't be a vote. It should be, we would like approval from these bands. We would like approval. And then they come out and they bring representatives and they bless the name.
Yeah.
Like, that's the way that's going to work.
At this point, we need all the blessings.
Smudge Commonwealth Stadium, yes.
Come and smudge it and say that it's okay for us to have the name back. And listen, once again, I'm super ambiguous. I don't want to say I don't care, because of course I care, but it's the reasons why that matters to me, not just because some people are crying to change the name and some people are crying to not change the name. It's a brand. It's a brand. Everything that you wear on your body, everything that you eat, everything that you have around you is a brand. It doesn't have to affect your life personally all that much.
Well, and I mean, it's that's exactly it. We're also talking about sports and entertainment, right? Mm-hmm. This is sports. This is entertainment. And I mean, yeah, sure, the players need an identity. That's why once an Eskimo, always an Eskimo is important. Ken here in the herd chat.
But you can also make an identity out of other things. They have bone.
Yeah, bone.
Bone is an identity, and that is not necessarily tied to the brand.
Brotherhood of Nasty Eskimos.
Okay, well,
but Brotherhood of Nasty Elks. Yeah. Once an Elks, always an Elks. That's not too hard to do either. John Kirby here. I don't want to have to buy new merchandise. Well, see, and here's what's funny about this.
We have tons of double E stuff.
We have tons of double E. The first hoodie I got, they came out with the first. This is a first edition Edmonton Elks shirt. It's all crackled up when they did the rebrand. This is the first shirt I had. So yes, I got merchandise right away. Shout out to Sammy because I did a side job for him. But because obviously you can't get paid or else that would be illegal. But I also got the gray double E hoodie. Why? Because the double E is what mattered the most in the branding. So that's it. Step one, I do believe they are going to go towards rebranding. Step one is the double E. Step 2, we'll see what happens next year.
For all those naysayers, do you think that if you just get rid of everything in the merchandise and everything that you see, like visually see,
Mhm.
that says Edmonton Elks, replace it with double E, but still call the team Edmonton Elks, but you're just not reminded of it in everything single thing that you buy
Right.
or anything, that cry would appease itself a little bit? You know?
Just be the Edmonton Football Club, and just your logo is the double E, and
I
that's
love
it. It's
that
just
logo.
a logo.
The Edmonton Football Club logo that they put on the new jerseys on the side. That's a beautiful logo.
Oh, that one. Okay, no, I
The
was
football
talking.
club.
I mean, hey, you know what? That is actually really good. But it still says Edmonton Elks Football Club.
With the one with the
Yeah.
ring. It's so beautiful.
It is beautiful. So number 3, let's get to our final question on this. And then we're gonna give you our poll results from yesterday. We ended up running a poll because if this team does rebrand, we want to know what the people wanted to rebrand to. I think the results aren't too shocking. We'll get there in a moment. But question number 3: what is the number one thing you hope Larry does with the team besides getting wins or rebranding? Because he's already rebranding.
Now, what do you mean by the team? Like with the players, or for the fans, or in general?
What do you want to see him do with the team? What do you want to see him improve? What's an area of concern for you? Is it game day? Is it tailgate? Is it what is it?
So one of the things that he brought up is, well, it was a question on the Q&A, is about the stadium, and we've seen it here in the chat as well. So it's whether they revamp or build another stadium. I personally would like to see it revamped, just do some upgrades. It's a beautiful historical building.
Mm-hmm.
And if things progress, if things get better, whether it is with a new branding or not, if we start getting people on those seats, wow, that's going to be a crazy stadium to be part of, right?
Yeah.
Commonwealth is known internationally.
Metallica's about to be here. I can't wait to see Metallica's branding. It's all going to be green and gold for this weekend.
Hopefully so.
Not this weekend, but next weekend coming up.
Yeah. And it's beautiful. Like, why would you want to get rid of history? We have enough of that. We have enough of that, right? That everybody's getting rid of historical buildings, bring them down. There's not enough history anyways. Why would you want to get rid of another piece? Make it better. I do agree with Ken. Make the in-game experience better. Invest in better speakers. Holy.
Yeah, I like that.
Better speakers. Improve the in-game experience for fans. Another thing, Larry's a season ticket holder, so I'm pretty sure that the perks for season ticket holders are going to improve because he knows that they haven't been the best. But if you make it a way better experience for everybody, and they have been working really hard at that.
Right.
I think that would go a long way.
But your number one thing is stadium?
Make it better. Just do some improvements.
So renovate Commonwealth, which to demolish Commonwealth Stadium, it's over it's hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah.
It's not worth it. It's a concrete what house. I like some of these here. Bring back the season ticket cards, and that's what I was gonna say. Reinvest in the season ticket holders. Yeah. That's what I want to see. The number one thing I hope Larry does is focuses on the fans. Focus on the fans. Reignite that passion within your fans by going the extra mile. This team has not gone the extra mile with fans. I'm sorry, the Prince, yes, we did get the Prince this year. Toronto Argonauts gave their season ticket holders freaking balls. Got whole balls, right? I'm sorry. I hate to be the entitled one over here, right? We did get a nice Prince that the boys got signed. Whatever, we made it work. Very nice Prince, by the way. But it's lacking. Even the year before, we got clear bags with balls, and under Victor Quee, there were certain things, right? It's still ticky-tacky, but at least it was a little bit more than just Prince.
And the thing about investing in your season ticket holders is that if this is something that they really, truly appreciate, and I mean, I wonder with the Toronto Argonauts, or they were
Maple
the
Leaf,
ones
Maple
in
Leaf
his-
Sports and Entertainment.
well,
Yeah,
whoever, when they gave out all of those gifts
yeah.
to season ticket holders, and season ticket holders posted it online or shared with their friends, or were like, hey, look at this really cool thing that I got for getting season tickets.
Yeah.
How many people will want to do that? How many people will get season tickets because
That's good
of the
marketing.
perks?
That's
that
great
they
marketing,
get?
right? You give them these season ticket holder gifts, they post it everywhere, and now you have more fans interested in getting season tickets.
Everybody loves free stuff.
You got to spend money to make money. We can say shit tonight, but you got to spend money to make money. That's the thing, right? So Larry has the money. He is going to invest his money into this team, and he's going to bring it back to glory, right? I mean, it's very obvious that he's coming in as one of the biggest fans, but he's hiring the right people. He's sitting down with, essentially the people that have already been running the ship for the last year to two, and he's charting a new path, but he's hiring the right people. And the names that are coming up right now for 2025, crazy. We're not going to throw any of that down. Once again, Edmonton Sports Talk does a great job of throwing names out there. But I'm hearing Ed Hervey's.
See, and
hearing also Warren Moon might be a part of the organization at some point. Like, these are the names that we're hearing. It's not quite a Daryl Cates Edmonton Oilers scenario where you're seeing Paul Coffey's come in, but it kind of is.
Yeah, in a way.
If you can employ these guys who are your heroes growing up, and they can make an impact with this team, like Larry said, he wants to see 50 to 60,000 people back here.
Yeah.
Holy cow! He could, and I believe he has the money to pull out all the stops.
See, and couple of points there. If we end up building another stadium, it could end up being another tin can like BMO field for 20,000 people,
and
that's
we
it.
don't want that.
We don't want that. Second of all, if there would be another thing that I hope that Larry does is hire the right people for the right positions.
Well, and that's why he's working directly with Rick Lawlisher, because if they get the right president, which, that's where the Ed Hervey name came in, there's potential for that. There's potential depending on what happens with his year with Hamilton and everything else.
What have we heard from people that truly care for this team, that alumni that have been invested in this team for so long?
Yeah,
that there's
Trent
a rot.
Brown, Sean Fleming.
There's a rot from the top down.
Yeah,
there's a rot.
Alumni members. We've heard that. Great candidates: Sean Fleming, Trent Brown here from Scott in the herd chat. Bringing Gizmo here from John here. John also wants collector cups and game day programs, which game day programs have been missing. That's another effect of the team being broke.
There are game day programs, but you have to get them online.
No, we don't want them online. No. We want the paper, or we want the same one that we have over with the Edmonton Oilers over there, right? Like a way better product. So there's so much that he can do, right? There's so much that he can do. He can bring in some of these alumni, or even get them more involved, right? Who's going to stay? Who's going to go? Nobody knows over at the organization. It's a clean, like, you start from scratch next year. If you're Larry Thompson, you're coming in, you're starting with a clean slate, and you get to build your business now. And luckily he is getting guided on this, but ultimately this is his show. He can do whatever he wants. He walks in with the double E behind him. It's the dawn of a new day.
It's his business now.
Very, very wild to see this happen. And I mean, I'm excited for it. I think this is going to be great. Like I said, I mean, hey, if anything happens to the branding, we do have a fantastic rebrand planned ourselves. Larry needs to make the Turf District and the Elks Herd official podcast of the Double E. Thank you, but you know what?
I like
no, but Morley Scott, I believe, has the official podcast of the Edmonton Elks. So make sure you check out his Antler Up podcast.
And just on that note, it's very nice being fan-sided media, because we're not tied to certain aspects of the business that we're not able to talk to.
We can
And
have a
that's
little bit
why-
more opinion.
That's why we're able to have shows like this, that we're able to express our
Yep.
opinions and be open about them without having, I mean, we have loyalty, of course, but we're not tied to NDAs or anything like that that might really prevent us from having shows like these.
Exactly. And I mean, to kind of cap that one off, I know that we're talking a lot about the brand. Winning is the answer, guys, especially in
Yes.
Edmonton. Yes, Daniel.
Winning is the answer.
You're correct about that. But yeah, I mean, we prefer to be fan-sided media, and it is nice to be able to still be fans and to still do this stuff. We also like to voice our opinions pretty heavy on it, and we also like to get our fellow fans in on it as well. So, and you know what, John, we'll take one last one on this specific topic, but oh hey, we got our friends here. But anyways, do you think we can get better halftime shows? That's the question that I wanted to get back to there. I would say with Larry Thompson coming in, we are going to see the return of big acts such as, you know, the 50 Cents and all of that other stuff. What Amar Doman, who Larry Thompson has been keeping an eye out on Amar Doman. Larry Thompson does not miss a CFL game. He watches almost every single CFL game on the weekend. He's a nut for it, which is great. He's a fellow fan, right? So,
but he's on that note, though, he's also a smart businessman. We've seen it before. He has multiple successful business, and he was able to sell one for a pretty penny so that he could buy this team. I don't think that that's the right way of spending money right now, because that's not what matters. I mean, once the team is profitable and we're making money, I say we, like I'm part of it.
Yeah.
But once they are making money, then they can start investing in things that are a little bit more extravagant, like better halftime shows. Doesn't matter right now, I don't think. It'd be nice, but even if we just increase the in-game experience for everyone overall, I mean, I like some of the halftime shows that they have. They're pretty cute.
No, but we're talking about concerts.
I know, but
we
those
want
are expensive.
concerts.
Those cost, and there's only so much money. He's already in a deficit. He bought this team.
He bought the debt. He bought the debt.
debt,
He seriously bought the
right?
debt. So with this team, step one, you'll win. Step one, guys, everybody, guys and gals, win. Step one, win. Under the new double E headed Edmonton Elks, you gotta win. Plain and simple. That's step one to getting fans back. Step two, if that's not working, then you're rebranding. So and even then, like, I mean, with the amount of damage that has been caused to the Edmonton Elks brand right now, it will take many years. So that's why I also believe that we're headed that direction, right? It's a rebrand does seem imminent, but once again, we'll have to stay tuned on that. Bring back the dogs chasing the pig.
I'd be okay with every single halftime being full of dogs.
Hey,
okay.
Dogs are always a hit. And then would you guys actually stop tailgating to what was the question? Oh, would you guys actually stop tailgating to come to a pregame concert inside the stadium? It depends. I mean, we would have to have field access for whatever the concert would be in order for us to leave the tailgate. So that's it. I think the occasional show, Canadian Football Central, we were just talking about this fantastic show. Go check out their show. I think the occasional show, like a season opening concert to get people in the door and to show them what this name Edmonton team is all about. So yes, home opener, maybe Labor Day rematch, some of those bigger games. Yes, you should have a concert for that stuff. Once again, you take a look at the BC Lions with 50 Cent. What a success. What a huge success.
Yeah.
They had 30 to 40,000 fans in there. It was one of their biggest attendances. I think they almost sold out or something. Like, it was crazy. They got a crazy attendance for it.
How was that? I wasn't in that one. I did not go to that game, the Hansen game last year.
Hansen was like 2021.
Yeah, was it? Oh my
We had
goodness. But was
masks
there a
on
lot
for
of
that
people?
one, yeah.
Was there a lot of people in there?
like 26, 27, I want to say.
Right.
Like, it wasn't crazy, right?
It was sold out 54,000.
No, that was for, there you go. That was for
I was
BC
like,
Lions,
that's
not
not
for Hanson.
Hanson.
No 54,000. So there you go. Yeah, it was completely sold out. That's right.
Yeah.
That's why it was such a big deal.
Right.
So 54,000, out of those people that came, they got to see a BC Lions win. People walk away with the night saying, "Hey, I saw a 50 Cent concert at a BC Lions game and the team won, and maybe I'll do that again sometime," right? Nickelback
Like
went
the winter
in the at the Heritage Classic. Nickelback was fantastic. We do have a highlight video up on our channel on YouTube of the Heritage Classic. Feel free to check it out. We
You
caught
know
a
what?
little bit of
Yeah, all of those, and to be honest, even things like those, especially at the beginning of the season, it would also bring in the younger crowd, like bring
Yeah.
in maybe a younger band, whatever that may look like. But
Yeah.
just to get some fans, maybe the younger crowd, as I mentioned before, I definitely do think that there is a generational gap between the older fans and the younger fans that we're seeing nowadays. So I think we definitely, somewhere in there, we should try targeting a lot of the younger crowd that we see as well.
Well, and they used to, but then the problem that kind of counteracted what Len Rhodes was trying to do was the fact that he said that winning didn't matter. And as soon as you say winning doesn't matter to a fan base that prides themselves on winning, you're counterproductive there. So sure, you're bringing in Flo Rida, or you're bringing in Busta Rhymes, or you're bringing in Ludacris. I saw all of them. How cool, right? I mean, I saw those concerts at an Edmonton Eskimos game / Double E, right? But, and I mean, we usually won those games. And I guess back then, because we won so much, it didn't really matter. Right? Maybe you lost that one, but you didn't really think about that. You thought about the event. But when you're losing so many games at home, yeah, all you think about is the losses. So it's cool. I think we're finally over that. I think we're finally oh yeah, Cake by the Ocean. You missed on DNCE. Remember Cake by the Ocean? Yep. The young crowd is a huge priority for the CFL as a whole. The CFL is a league based on old fans. Sad reality for long-term stability. You got to bring in that youth, and I mean, this team has missed out on the youth for way too long. They got to get back to that, and they will. It's also
wins.
a rebrand is a lot harder to explain to the youth. Let's put it that way.
Well, yeah.
It's going to be explained. It's going to be hard for us to explain that to our youth. So we'll see what happens with it, but I do think that this is very, very exciting times. We're in for a wild 2 to 3 years as Larry Thompson adjusts and develops as a CFL team owner, the owner of the Double E, the Edmonton Elks. So it's very exciting. It's very exciting. I think, the changes that we're even going to see next year, we've already seen a couple of changes today. And we're talking about day one. And he's already preparing for next year. He's already said that he's going to work every day at the Double E at the Edmonton Elks. So it's cool. It's cool to see. It's cool to see somebody give a damn about this team again. It's cool to see some love. It's cool to see somebody with some money. It's cool to see Larry in this position. And trivia for everybody listening or watching: I used to work for Thompson Brothers. Well back in the day, like 12 years ago or something like that. So wow, 15 years ago. Holy cow, I am getting old. So yeah, I mean, I used to work for Thompson Brothers. My dad used to work for Thompson Brothers. My mom has met Larry Thompson before. Oddly enough, that's a weird connection we have there. So I mean, it'll be cool to say hi to him, and I don't know if we're up in Fort McMurray, so we're a little bit separated from his main operations down here in Stony Plain, where he used to own Thompson Brothers Construction. But that's a lot of Larry Thompson talk and new ownership talk. I think we have a little bit of CFL, outside CFL news there and things to talk about. And then we are going to close the fan forum and shut her down.
Yeah, we'll make it painless. It's quick. We just wanted to bring it up because it's definitely something that is happening and it's important this week in the CFL.
Because who's back? Who's back in the CFL?
Back again.
Nathan's back. Tell a friend. Nathan Rourke
Yeah.
is back in the CFL.
Did you expect that? Did you think that was going to happen?
No, so I was just on the EST hangout on Friday, and I said, go check out that episode, by the way. But I was talking about it with Matthew Owanek and Dean Belanger, and we had spitballed like a year or two away. No,
Yeah.
this happened like snap, crackle, pop. It was like almost the next day.
You know what? I was reading some articles when I was looking at the recap and making sure that I had my information straight. And now, gotta remember that this game happened in last Sunday, August 11th, and a couple of those. There was one article that was written, and at the end of the article, it said something about a cool cat coming back. And no, it's not Nathan Rourke. That's not going to happen for a foreseeable future. Cut to 2 days later.
Boom! Nathan Rourke back in the CFL. Kid Canada. Daniel Upsdale here. Nathan, our stud in BC.
I truly did not see that. I kind of saw it happening. Once again, I do agree with that. I thought it was going to be at least another year, maybe for next season. I thought that he might still finish the current season or try to, anyways, in the NFL. And that it wasn't happening so fast, but that was really quick. It happened really quick.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Now, what happens to Vernon Adams Jr.?
Big play VA. He's on that team for a Grey Cup run. He's at backup. I do not see him being traded because now you have Nathan Rourke. Now you're already paying whatever fines for being over the cap. You're already in this mess of your BC now. There's zero, unless they trade away a couple players and try to get cap compliant. I do see them taking a fine, or however that works, right? I don't know if they have to give up a draft. I don't know exactly how it works off the top of my head here, but
I do feel bad for him.
I feel horrible for Vernon Adams Jr., but at the same time, I feel worse for Jake Dolegala, who was straight up punted off the team after losing to the Edmonton Elks, right? Like Canadian football, I want to say this is probably Carter in here. Snap, crackle, pop is the 3-game losing streak BC's on. Talking shit now because we probably will lose, so I won't be able to afterwards. That's the beauty. That's the beauty of sports.
Well,
talk that shit.
And I even asked right away, as soon as that happened, I was like, is he going to start immediately? Is he going into a starter position immediately? And Scout said yes. I'm like, holy.
Oh, yeah.
They're really putting, those eggs in that basket, hoping for a comeback after the last 3 games.
Well, now, I'm not going to pull a full Farhan. Shout out to Farhan, distant friend of the herd. Farhan, he straight up said that Nathan Rourke is a top 20 quarterback in the world.
Right.
Take it easy, Farhan. Take it easy, bud. He did not crack backup on you know what? I think he was he might have made it to third or backup in those final games with who was it, the Patriots? I want to say with the Patriots, he actually got paid because he was on the roster. He wasn't just out on the practice roster. So, and yeah, I mean, he is starting on Sunday. So it is going to be a huge game. You know that everybody's tuning in to watch the Nathan Rourke show on Sunday.
I hope he doesn't flounder, because that's
he's already smiling. He's
bad.
Right back into the groove. I mean, same coach, a lot of the same players. Well, actually, not a lot, but most, I would say, a fair amount of the same players.
He signed for a 3-year contract.
$750K for next year, I want to say, and then $850K for the year after, or something like that. And here's what's interesting. I called it. $750K. Why? Because Michael Riley was making $700K around there, right? Same deal. Him and Bo Levi Mitchell basically had matching elite contracts. So as if Kid Canada comes back up and doesn't make an elite contract. Also, they are stashing some of that salary money in a special marketing, media appearance. There's a weird thing there. There's a clause, one or two players.
I definitely wonder how is it that they can afford him at this point, right? So I guess they had to work some things around, and they'll make it happen. But I'm excited. I'm excited to see that game. I still feel horrible for Vernon Adams Jr. I don't think he's going to stay in BC.
I don't
After
know.
this year, I don't know because I don't
St. John in
know.
the herd chat.
I don't know.
So
do you think he's gonna stay in BC after this year?
No,
Under the
no,
shadow of
no.
Nathan Rourke
Vernon,
moving on.
Adams Jr.
Yeah, he's
more
gone.
than likely is somewhere else next year.
Yeah.
Like I mean, for now he's on. He's
Is
in
he
for the
tied
ride.
to a contract or is he?
I don't know. I don't
Right.
know that part, but I would say more than likely they can release him if his contract is lengthy enough. Once the season is done,
Right.
they can release him.
When do we
But
play the BC Lions next?
or they might be able to trade him. BC Lions. Are we done with the BC Lions?
Aw, that'd be sad.
I think we got them on the split too.
Yeah.
We got them on the split.
Oh,
So
I
on the
guess that's it.
tiebreaker.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was the
yeah.
tiebreaker. Damn. I would have loved to see a Trey versus Nathan Rourke showdown. That would have been a good one.
Yeah, no more BC Lions.
Oh, that
yeah, no
sucks.
more BC Lions. Yeah.
Well, maybe in the Grey Cup.
Well, St. John, he and Trey are crafted for the CFL. Vernon Adams Jr. is such a dynamic quarterback. He reminds me a little bit of, once again, Trey Ford or even Jeremiah Mazzoli, who is playing tonight. John was giving us the update earlier that the Stampeders were down at halftime. So shout out, John, if you happen to have that update. I am curious. I want to see Calgary lose. But Nathan Rourke, just to kind of cap off the Nathan Rourke piece, and then we're going to move on to Chad Kelly. Because we got a little bit of Chad Kelly news too.
Ew.
Oh, Calgary won 29-28. Gross. Yuck. Yuck. Wait.
Oh, no, that always sounds like they're cheering.
No, they're jeering. No, they don't like it. Boo. But yeah, no, ABC, anybody but Calgary, big old F Calgary. That sucks that they won tonight. I was really hoping for Ottawa. But yeah, I mean, capping off Nathan Rourke, very exciting to have him back. He adds excitement all across the league and the nation. I'd love for him to get another NFL crack. I'd love to see him actually succeed at the NFL level. I think that he could.
Oh, come on. Now we have wrong information here.
John, what are you doing?
Ottawa won.
Ottawa won 31-29. John, false alarm on the score.
Okay, well, now that's good.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Okay, well, we're going to go ahead and cheer for that then. Cool. All right, let's move on to Chad Kelly. This is our final topic of the night.
Chad Kelly.
Chad Kelly is
coming back.
So
he's also coming back.
Rumor has it that Chad Kelly will be able to practice as early as Sunday, setting him up at QB1. And now, if you go and look at Chad Kelly's X account, his social media, if you go take a look at Chad Kelly's social media, what are you going to find? A lot of posts.
Really?
He's posting about the Argos. He's
why? Somebody should go and take that phone away from him.
Well, no, it's not bad. It's not bad. He's this time he's not, drunk behind a phone or anything like that, or
take that phone away from that man. He should not be in social media.
But as per reports, right, he's able to talk to Randy Ambrosie this week and get reinstated into the league. And of course, there's conditions on that.
Right.
There are conditions on that. But expect Chad Kelly back for next week.
So, did an investigation actually happen?
Well, yeah. I mean, they suspended him.
But
that was a while ago.
Was there an investigation?
That was a while ago, of course. Otherwise, he wouldn't be suspended right now. So, like, I mean, are you asking, like, did he get remedial? Was there?
I said I want to make sure that somebody looked into it and investigated it, and there's the end result is because he truly is innocent. That's it.
Oh no, he wasn't innocent. He settled.
Oh yeah,
hey,
he
you didn't know this?
No,
you have to read. Let's check. You got to research this.
Well, I know, but that's why I have you.
No. So basically, Chad Kelly here. Let's explain it so that everybody has the whole picture, because hey, you may not be the only one that did not get the deets on this. So Chad Kelly, let's replay. He catches himself in this incident due to an athletic trainer, therapist, made a complaint to the Toronto Argonauts. Toronto Argonauts did not handle it properly. the news came out that she was suing.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a criminal suit, it's a civil suit. So because it's a civil suit, there's, money and other things involved, whatever. They tried to settle it, didn't quite happen, and then eventually it got settled, but a lot of evidence came up and a lot of hearsay and this and that. Basically, Chad Kelly is guilty, but it's never been proven in a court of law. So therefore, he settled. He still got suspended because this is a bad look for the CFL. They have their own policies, and by their own policies, he was suspended.
Yep. If he settled, he shouldn't be back.
Hey, you know what? I like it. John in the herd chat. Catherine doesn't have to research. This is not a Toronto Argonauts show. I like it. Good.
Very true. You know what? I am a very busy person, and I tend to stay away from Twitter a lot. And usually, Twitter is where we get our CFL news.
Well, we get a lot of it. It is the number one news source, right? But
so I do my research, if need be. But I also have a walking CFL encyclopedia here, so
sometimes
I don't need to. But yes,
I appreciate the compliment
for that. With the whole Chad Kelly thing, that's a bad look. As soon as somebody settles, you know.
Well, and that's the thing, right? And a lot of people are saying, well, I mean, he technically wasn't guilty and this and that, whatever. We're well past that. But it was already handled very bad to begin with. Yeah. And now we're gonna have Chad Kelly back in the league. The league essentially had this one suspension. That's it. There's no real good media handling. There's no, his agent should have handled this a lot better, I think.
I wonder how the public is going to handle this. Clearly we've seen it over here. Even in the chat, we see a lot of, yucks. What a joke.
What a joke if he is.
What a joke if he is.
St. John in the herd chat.
Right.
We got Daniel with the what a joke. St. John with the puke faces.
So...
Carter there from Canadian Football Central. Chad Kelly's lawyer has got to be shitting. Well, and that's the thing, right? Lawyer and agent. It's like both of you guys should be protecting this guy. Keep him off of Facebook. Saw that comment. Good one, Cindy. But keep him off of Facebook. Keep him off of X. Keep him off of Instagram. Yeah. Keep him off of the social media accounts because he's only making himself look worse when you should be disappearing. And if you are going to come back up to public light, massive apology.
He would have to go on a press conference and publicly apologize if there is any chance
of
for
him
people
playing
to accept him back.
That's
because that was my point. What's going to happen when he goes on the field and everybody feels a certain kind of way?
I don't know. Very, very true. No, and we know that that's coming.
We may hear a whole lot of boos, a lot of bad stuff going around. And that is also bad publicity, right? So what happens for every single stadium that he visits that they think that he's a piece of work and they start yelling at him, they're going to have to take him out of the field.
Yep.
Simple as that. That's PR. That's
well, and especially if fans stop showing up, right? Or I like Ryan Messer here of the Forge podcast. He just had a crazy day down in Birmingham with his media coverage. He covered 2 teams today. The organization will wake up once sponsors start jumping ship. And weird. Where have we talked about that before?
Right. Yeah, that's just it.
Right here in Edmonton.
I mean, we're dealing on it in a very, I don't want to call it a small scale because it's not. I'm not diminishing that, but it's also not a civil suit.
We don't have our quarterback sexually harassing athletic trainers and settling out of court, right?
Yeah.
Like that's what this case came down to. And there's obviously conditions on him returning to the league. I don't know what those are. Maybe they're out there, and if they are, I mean, I encourage everybody to do their own research. We're not an Argonauts show. Yeah. This is not the Argos boat, okay? This is the Elks herd. This is the Argo boat. This ain't a boat. Boaty McBoatface. Okay. But no, but I mean, do your research on it.
Yeah.
But with this Chad Kelly scenario, it's been handled really badly. I don't see it improving anytime soon.
All you had to say is he settled, and that alone is Yuck.
Well, and I believe that they tried to settle more than once, and it took a little bit of nudging there. So
Right.
either way, I don't have the 100% facts directly in front of me, but I will say that it's I would be ashamed if I were an Argonauts fan. Final order of business. We forgot about the poll, so let's get back to the poll, shall we? Final order of business here. And you know what? I kind of don't mind finishing the show with a poll. Why not, right? Like, what if we do a poll for every show?
Maybe.
Right? We could try this. So everybody, to cap off our show, we did have a poll on X, 500 votes.
Oh my goodness.
So over 500
votes.
people voted on this
Right.
question, okay? The question was, if the Edmonton Elks rebrand to the Edmonton Eskimos or the Edmonton Esks, are you going to the first game for a new name, going for Edmonton football, or not going at all? We asked everybody to hit the poll. And what we had here, at 10%, yes, it's if it's the Esks.
Mm-hmm.
So Esks, as far as, if we do rebrand here, Esks is not preferred, right? Megan the Stallion. 37%, yes, if it's Eskimos. That's the biggest percentage in this vote. 533 votes. 28% of you said yes if it's Edmonton. So just going for Edmonton football. I don't care if it's Eskimos. I don't care if it's Esks. I don't care if it's Elks. I'm going for Edmonton football, which means if you're going for Elks, you're going for Edmonton football, right? And then 26%. So over 100 people said they will not go to the game if the team rebrands.
Mm-hmm. It's so split.
No, but
it's so split.
Matt Som's in the herd chat. If we rebrand again, I've lost interest and I'm done.
And it's, once again, I mean, we talked about it greatly in great detail, and we, at the end of the day, we're not going to be able to please everybody. They're not going to be able to please everybody. The reality is, right? So, and the reality is that we also don't have any say in this. I mean, obviously we can voice our opinions, but at the end of the day, is Larry choice.
He owns the team. He bought the team for millions. At the end of the day, it's Larry's choice on what he wants to do.
And the only hope is that he does it properly.
He does it ethically, properly, morally. Don't go ahead and just change the name because you want it. Change the name because the people that it represents are actually backing it, and because it is actually honoring them. I don't care about the name, but if they need to rebrand, it's all because they're still not winning. They're still trying to run away from the Edmonton Elks losing.
Yeah. And you call this a what? A Band-Aid.
It's a Band-Aid fix, right? Simply put, changing the name is running away from the real problem, which is the team not winning, right? Fireworks on touchdowns. St. John here getting in late on that question, but fireworks on touchdowns, try and bring a decent band or two to play halftime.
Listen,
we're missing the fireworks. Where have the fireworks been?
Yep. And right now, I will settle for a better sound system.
No, they just upgraded. They just upgraded the speaker up top. Yeah, the big center speaker. They just upgraded it.
It's still really hard to hear.
Yeah.
But anyways,
maybe
we will. Oh,
sorry, there was one more comment. Yeah, we need winning football and better fan engagement during the games, and that's what St. John, what he had just mentioned. Right, those are the things that are going to help. That's where he wants to see the money go. It's a very fast time. This is all happening very, very fast. But no matter what, Edmonton Elks fans are going to win. I mean, Edmonton Esks fans are going to win. If maybe Edmonton Eskimos fans, right? Once again, if they do it the right way, like Ryan Messer says here in the herd chat, Braves have a native chief on the board. Also donate millions to local native tribes. As long as the Edmonton
is doing it
potential
properly.
Eskimos do that properly, do those kind of things, right? But We need to do it right. For now, this is the double E forward.
Yeah.
Edmonton Elks. This logo, more than likely, not going to be at the forefront past this
Oh, my
season.
goodness.
This is
Wild
this is it for
times.
this logo. This is
Wild
the
times.
final ride for this logo
We'll
from
see.
everything we are gathering. And
We'll see.
once again, Larry owns the team.
Mhm.
He can do what he wants,
Yep.
just like we own the Elks Call podcast.
See, and that's it.
and
That's
we
it.
get to do what
So
we
I know what the next poll is going to be. If if they rebrand to the Eskimos, what are we going to call ourselves? Give us, what does the Elks herd become? Give us ideas.
We'll take the ideas. We do have a power move in mind in the event, but maybe you guys as the fans and fellow fans and listeners and viewers, maybe you guys have a better idea of what we can call ourselves over here at the Elks Herd if we do rebrand to that type of name. And I mean, we're still talking about a year and a half from
Yeah,
speculation.
hopefully.
If there is a rebrand, it's a year and a half to 2 years. Change the name to the Edmonton Larrys. That would be hilarious. The Iceberg, I like that by St. John for the podcast name or for the Elks Herd itself. The Iceberg.
Iceberg.
And
Love
we are about to give you the tip of the iceberg.
Just the tip.
And that's a good time for us to cleanse our thoughts with some lather and close this fan forum. We're going to close off that fan forum. Thank you very much, everybody, for getting in on this herd chat. That was absolutely crazy. We're going to wrap it up. It's been almost 2 hours. This has been a huge episode. We've covered a lot here, and we know that more changes are coming. So we got some exciting episodes of the Elks Call coming up. More importantly, this team is on a 2-game win streak, and we're going for win number 3.
Let's make it
so
3.
Let's focus on the wins. Let's focus on the game. Let's focus on the team on the turf.
Mhm.
And all of the other noise will eventually dissolve. Winning cures everything. How about we get some dubs?
Yeah.
Fan forum's closed. We're shutting her down. We got to thank you, the viewer, for tuning in to the show tonight. Whether you're watching on YouTube or on Facebook or listening on TuneIn, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Edmonton Sports Talk, or your favorite podcatcher. Once again, my name is Scout, aka the Rep from Section X.
And I'm Catherine, aka Do You Even Elks?
We are the Elks Herd. This was the Elks Call, and we will see everybody on the next episode with hopefully another win under our belts. Go Elks, everybody. Have an awesome one.
Have a good night.